My name is Mercedes Fernandez, and I am from Gilbert, Arizona. I went to Gilbert Classical Academy for high school, and then I enlisted in the Arizona Army National Guard. I went to West Point, and now I am a field artillery officer, and I'm about to go to the 173rd in Graf. At West Point, I majored in Portuguese. I have my Bachelor's of Science in Portuguese, which is kind of funny. I loved my time as a Portuguese major. I was very involved. I actually got to study abroad in Portugal. I studied at a Universidade de Coimbra, which is a civilian university, so I actually spent 6 months abroad, which was awesome. I got to go to Academia Militar in Lisboa. It was really cool to get to know people in different countries in the military, how they operated differently, how their tactics were different, and then also get to just explore when I was at the civilian university. Okay. So I would say that the most challenging part about West Point is that you literally cannot do it all. Like, you have to pick and choose. Like, it's either like something's gonna kind of fall behind a little bit, whether it's the physical pillar, the academic pillar, or the military pillar with kind of your job, whether you're XO, whether you're in charge of military development, whether you're in charge of academics for your company. Something's gonna falter a little bit because you just don't have time to do it all. So I would say the hardest part about West Point is just kind of like finding that balance, finding or distinguishing between like the glass balls and the rubber balls. I would say kind of in line with that is nothing goes as planned. And so I think that that was really difficult because you could just like plan and plan and plan and something's still gonna go wrong. For me, a very like real example of things not going as planned and it's out of your control is I got a really bad concussion when I was at West Point. So in my last year during combatives, which is a core class that we all have to take for our physical component of West Point, we were training together, we were practicing, and she kind of lifted me up wrong and dropped me on my head. And so I was out of school for 5 weeks. I couldn't focus on my job as XO for the company. I couldn't focus on my schoolwork. Overall, I had a lot of support from like my TAC officer, friends, a few of my teachers, but that was really difficult because it's like, wow, I had prepared all the way up to my first year, getting ready to graduate, and now I just got this severe concussion, and what the hell am I supposed to do now? So I had to force myself to take rest and somehow graduated on time. I would say that the most important things that worked and that I'm gonna carry on as a lieutenant and beyond that in the Army is, one, being an authentic leader. For me, that means being loving, being myself. I don't have to pretend to be anything else. I don't have to not be feminine to be a leader. I can be myself and be a leader. And I think that's really important instead of just kind of like putting on this face and like taking yourself out of the equation. Another thing is environmental staging. At least that's what I like to call it. You want to set people up for success. One of the biggest things that I learned about leadership is just kind of, one, planning. Make sure you account for everything because people below you are counting on you to count for everything. And two, be flexible because things aren't going to go to plan. Things are going to change and you need to be able to adapt.